guess you can start with the introduction. And
Why me though?
because
Okay, that's fine. Oh, I found a new mic lapel thingy. Wait,
Mike, what?
mic holder. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, yo. See,
Alright.
that's just one part where you can see the difference.
And yeah, getting used to talking to the camera or looking at you while we're sitting so close to each other. That's also
That's different.
there is a learning curve.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2. Hi, my name is Omar.
So,
Yep.
I wanted to say hi, folks, but I don't know how that sounds. Anyone who's listening to this, welcome to our TBD name podcast.
Correct.
My name is Ana.
My name is Omar.
I was gonna say something else. Sometimes I go by Christina. Like, it depends on which platform, I guess, or how close we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go by Omar and that's it.
I just go by Omar. My name is Omar.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Not complicated.
Correct.
Easily understood in the Arab world.
Yes. Other people might say Omar, but yeah.
Omar.
Omar in Spanish. We're siblings.
Yes.
We're from Panama.
Originally.
Yes. And we are thinking about starting a podcast. So this is the beginning of it. This
Yes.
is the...
So, just two people that have a lot going on in their minds decide to sit down and simply record what they already talk about anyways.
On a daily basis. Yes.
Yeah. We have like daily deep conversations and we're like, this could be a podcast. And it kind of turned out into a podcast. So
Yeah.
here we are trying to start something.
And as you can see, we are not professionals at all. We barely have this together.
Don't do this at home.
Yeah. And we don't know what we're doing clearly. And at the same time, we want to learn how to do this. And
Yes.
of course, we would rely on the harsh criticism of the internet
Of the people who know what they're doing.
to be able to get this together. But yeah,
And more for the reason of wanting to share
yes.
the knowledge, the lessons, the mistakes, the wins, the losses that we've had over decades together. I mean, and apart. So this is more of like a diary, a virtual diary of sorts where we record our experiences and just topics that we talk about on a regular basis.
Recount stories, I would say. Yeah.
Recount stories, hash out lessons, a lot of sayings, refranes in Spanish. My whole life is about sayings and how they actually apply to day-to-day life. And I like just throwing in a bit of a metaphor or like a saying every now and in a conversation. So that's good to share for people that want to learn.
That is a very Latino thing. Yeah, I would say. You just throw a saying and that is the whole lesson.
Exactly.
All right. I think, how about we start with a little bit of background?
Okay.
What have you been to? What have you been up to?
Okay. All right. Let's start with the obvious. We're already established that we're from Panama.
Yes.
Grew up there, studied there most of our lives. At 15, actually 14, because I was just about to turn 15. Our whole lives moved suddenly to Oman, which, anyone from Panama is like, where's Oman? And then we just say, oh, Dubai? Well, next to it.
Yeah.
It's usually how it goes.
That's the reference.
And on this side, people are like, where's Panama? We're like, Colombia. Oh, Narcos. Yes, next to it. So it's, kind of that sort of comparison, which is weird and funny at the same time. And then after being here for a while, a year or 2 years, I moved back to Panama to continue studying. I ended up graduating from high school, stayed there for college. Still not graduated. That's another topic for another time.
We have to unpack that.
But right before COVID, I moved back what was supposed to be a small vacation of 3 to 4 months, due to topics we're going to discuss later. I had to stay a little bit longer. And in that interim where I was staying, extending, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So airports closed.
Everything went down.
And couldn't move back.
Yeah.
So I stayed, and then I stayed, and airports started to open, but there was nothing back for me in Panama. So I decided to try my hand at being here, and here I am. I think
How many years?
At the end of May, 31st of May, I'll be turning 6 years since I came back and haven't left, only for visiting. So that's a little bit on summary of about me. So tell us about you.
Well, I also moved to Oman around 11 years old. I remember that my dad, who is an air traffic controller, our dad actually,
Yeah.
he got a job here, he moved, and we had to move. Getting used to school was hard here. This is why after 2 years, I think it was, that we moved back to Panama.
Yeah.
And over there, we were for 3 years. Then I came back to Oman, finished school, then applied for college, and I went to study physics in Malaysia. I did my undergraduate of physics. I did my master's in applied physics in Malaysia. I have been working in marketing, two opposite worlds. It's like every single person that meets me asks me, why do you work in marketing when you have a degree in physics? I don't know how to explain that. It's just the way the world works. But yeah, the industries do interchange each other.
Yeah.
You do use your analytical mind for marketing, and you do use that framework of creativeness and ideas for the physics world. So
Yeah.
I do think that there is an interlapping
Yeah.
subject that gets worked on, I would say.
Yeah.
And now I unfortunately did not get a visa in Malaysia, so I had to come back to Oman. I'm visiting you guys, and it's been about less than a month. And so far we have been working on a new company,
Yeah.
trying to start to join our brains in the marketing world to create something that can, give us a lot of
Fulus.
cash, a lot of fulus.
Dinero. It's kind of funny how, now that you mentioned your career paths, it's something that we have both experienced in our own way, because and this is something that we talked about before, and I just want to mention it just for the context. When I was in my career search, when I was in high school, I was presented with what are your career paths? Choose your top 3, choices of what you want to do. And I think career, yes, like a career form, I guess, that you have to choose what you want to do. And the very first option that I chose was photography. And the second choice was psychology. And the third one, probably not that I remember anymore, I just remember the 2 main ones, had something to do with aviation and probably logistics or something like that. So maybe something in management of logistics or whatever. And funnily enough, when I brought the list back home and I presented it to my parents, the very first thing they said, photography is not a career. I don't know if you're going to sustain that, living on that. And that was okay, I didn't stop there though. I kept trying to study in the US. I went all the way to Florida, went to Full Sail University, toured the whole thing. I was so in love with the school. And I came back to Panama. I'm okay, I studied so hard all throughout primary school, middle school, then high school, enough to want or to feel like I could get a scholarship. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. As much as you want it, it's, at least in Panama, it's not merit-based sometimes. And unfortunately, I couldn't get it. The only option for me was to get a loan. So thankfully, I had a lot of support. I had uncles that were able to do the co-signing and all of that, and they were willing and all of it. But when I sat down with my 17-year-old self and told myself, do I want to be bound by a loan for the next 15 to 20 years?
Yeah.
And have to serve like an X amount of years in the government, et cetera, I was like, you know what? I think it's not meant for me. So I came back, all the solutions. I went to one of the universities and I just told them, just tell me whatever it is that gives the most money right now. And they presented like different options. And one of them was logistics and maritime management and ports and all of that. And I was like, okay, let's just do that, whatever. Like, you know, it was just so, I think, devastating internally to have all your options of something that you want to do just be shut down one by one. So I was like, you know what, whatever it is that gives you money, just give me that. Fast forward 10 years from that decision, funnily enough, I'm also in marketing and I am also working in the creative department field of creating content, doing photography, doing not just in the action of being a photographer, videographer, but actually directing and managing what the field or what the project is about. And all of this to say that what I have learned in the last 10 years is that whatever is meant for you will find you. And whatever it is that you want to do, be it in any aspect of your life, if you still have the interest, because during COVID, there was nothing to do. So all I did was sit down in front of my computer, start designing, graphic design, learn different things, self-taught, you know, different aspects. And at one point, my now husband, he just asks me, just create a portfolio of everything you've been doing. And I'm like, I don't think I have enough. Like, it's not that big, you know? And then he's like, just do it. Just put something together and let's see what comes out of it. You're not losing anything.
Yeah.
And I did. And funnily enough, when you were seeing it in my 2021 portfolio, you were like, wow, that's so good. But back then I was like, nah, it's not too much, you know? And all of that creativity just kept me going and putting my foot like slowly into the water of creativity and design and all of that. And it's kind of strange how from logistics management degree, I work for marketing in the hospitality industry. So 3 like different industries all together in like my life for some reason, you know? And I think that's kind of the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know that we had a colleague, let's say, that we both worked for here in Oman, who opened the door for us in the marketing space, social media, teaching us how to do certain things and how to grow. And then you moved to Malaysia, and during my undergraduate, I had to do an internship. And the internship required you to look for a job yourself. They don't provide anything. So I thought, okay, I am actually not interested in doing too much work for it. So what can I get the easiest as well? Like, okay, what can I get the easiest at? So because I had some experience in marketing, or I would say social media, I worked for a large conglomerate in Malaysia. I got an internship. And okay, I finished my degree. I need to make some money. And opportunities, I would say, are scarce over there in Malaysia with regards to physics itself, but it has always been my passion. I don't think I will ever stop educating myself in the field of physics, irrespective of what I am doing in life, right? So it just so happens that there was a company, there was a startup, they were offering quite a good salary for a junior position, so let's do it. I need some money, I need to like sustain myself, I'm in another country, living on my own, so I did that. And it just kept on going that way because, okay, now you're applying for jobs and your resume only has marketing in it. It doesn't have anything. So the barrier of entry is much lower. So you just follow the path of least resistance, and then all of a sudden you find yourself 5 years down the road and you're working for a large global company in Malaysia.
Yeah.
In logistics, so it happens as well.
It's kind of like the juxtaposition that I actually studied logistics and you ended up in a yeah.
Things were going really well with that company. Like I was fitting in quite well with the culture, with the people. I really liked everyone, and they were really positive about getting me a visa. But it just so happens that Malaysia upped their requirements, let's say, for who can get a particular position. The similar thing that was happening here in Oman, where
and that we have also in Panama. It's the same thing.
Where they want to give the jobs to their people,
exactly,
to the people, the nationals, and because of that, the foreigners who want to apply for similar positions need to have multiple requirements before they can be given like even a bat and knife towards them.
Yes.
So, yeah, I decided that okay, it's time to change, and here is the result of that change: us talking in a podcast, or
something
like that,
something resembling a podcast for now.
Because you always see people doing their podcast, or people trying to talk to a camera or talking to another person in front of you, and you think to yourself, I have so many topics that I talk about on a daily basis, or that I think about, and I would love for somebody on the other side of the screen to be able to relate to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think that we're finally doing that, and it starts with just an introduction.
Yes.
Today is an introductory, like, hey, this is us. Here's how we talk. Here's our voice. And maybe later on we, of course, like dive into deep topics about our beliefs, our understanding of the world, our learnings over these past couple of years, because we have been apart. So we have grown at different rates. We have grown towards different directions.
Yeah.
We have learned a myriad of things over time. And it's time to perhaps connect.
And connect the dots and see where we land in the middle. Because I think the whole idea came of we grew up in the same house until our, high school years. We were taught by the same parents, although it's not technically true because my parents were different than your parents in the stages in life, in how, they learned from things that happened with me. They changed for you, and then they changed for the last one. So it's also their first time living. It's something that I've come to realize now that as a almost 30-year-old, I think at my age, mom already had 3 kids. I cannot imagine myself with one, like it just, the idea of having one is so, is so crazy to me, at least personally. And when I think about that, I also try to give them grace in the sense of how they were learning as well. And so I don't believe they were the same parents, but generally the idea that we grew up in the same house and culture and beliefs and all of that, and how those paths they diverge into different personalities, way of living, way of making money and all of that, and our own values later on in life. So I guess this is
built, right? We have been taught a lot of values, but in the process you have built your own.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what many of those like philosophers
we like to do a lot of philosophy in this house too.
They would have been you guys are doing it. You guys are building your own values because your experience of the world changes as the world changes too.
Yeah.
So perhaps some themes, they are recurrent.
Exactly.
But the exact definition is built by the people living in that time.
I guess we're questioning in a way the idea of nurture versus nature, in the sense of, okay, these values come in the way that we were raised or created together, and then how you came out of the womb. Like, this is what I believe as a person, and I choose my own path type of thing, right? Because you can be taught so much, like some values you will have already coming from your family or from your culture. And other things, like you said, are going to be shaped by your own experience in life. And I think this is the place where we're going to explore all of these things, you know, coming from the same background, moving to different places, experiencing different cultures, living, you know, different times in our lives personally, and converging now that we're together. Who knows for how long? We'll see where that takes us, and hopefully we can cover that as well, of what we see in our own lives, how they develop later on.
Hopes and dreams.
And we can talk about the future, right? What are our thoughts and plans, and we can talk about the past, what's going on now, and what our views are for the future. So if you find any value in anything we have said in the last, I don't know how long we've been here.
Half an hour maybe.
Yeah, just, you know, stick around, see what's up, and let us know what you think we can talk about and what your thoughts are on this first episode, introductory episode. I don't know. We'll just fine tune from here.
You know what? Thank you for listening.
This is a baseline. This is like, okay, we can't do worse than this, I guess, but we can always be better. So, yeah. How do we end the episode? Thank you for listening. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Bye.
Is this on?
I don't think so.
Oh my god.
The whole time.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Yeah, I'm trying to like move it. But
No,
it's okay.
It had been on before.
No, when I turned, it was off already. But we'll see. Let's see how it came out.
Oh my god.